tax evasion scheme. The Mail and Guardian's investigative unit, amaBhungane, has reported on papers filed in the Western Cape Court that show the South African Revenue Service wants Wiese and a few other individuals to be held accountable for 217 million rand.
Amabhugane says the 217 million is part of a bigger network, 3.7 billion claim based on multinational oil and gas exploration company Tullow Oil's restructuring. Wiese's company Titan ultimately bought the remaining South African company left after that restructuring, which actually held no assets. According to the article, law firm ENSAfrica created a tax structure which Tullow used to shift assets worth nearly 4 billion out of this country.
Wiese, of course, was also a former executive of ENSAfrica.
ENSAfrica issued a statement saying that it and its affiliates have at all times complied with all the requirements of the relevant tax laws. It further accuses SARS of not seeking to find the truth about the role of any of the advisors arising from these transactions. Wiese says the full liability alleged by SARS has nothing to do with him.
ENS helped to restructure the tax affairs of one of its major clients, Tullow Oil, and with which Titan had absolutely nothing to do, had no knowledge of. As a consequence of that restructuring, there were a number of shelf companies left in the group. ENS then sold one of those companies to my company, Titan, and the rest is clearly spelled out in the report. Where people seem to have got it badly wrong is that the tax restructuring liability alleged by SARS has absolutely nothing to do with me.
When Tullow moved those assets out of South Africa, SARS says that it avoided just under R1 billion worth of taxes. It then loaded on 150% penalties plus interest, and over about a decade, bringing us to today, that comes up to about 3.7 billion rand.
Okay.
So that big figure sits with that little company which passed from Tullow's hands to ENS and then on to Christo Wiese.
One analyst believes that Wiese's credibility has been damaged, first from the Steinhoff saga and now this.
Look, it's impossible that he's going to basically make a career as lustrous as his own career looked until the end of last year ever again. He's too old for that. He's, of course, damaged reputation and so on is quite substantial. But I mean, he's accumulated quite a lot of assets, and even though the overall value has come down significantly, in these cases, you hardly ever find somebody in that position. I think the few exceptions include people like Batista in Brazil, where he's been sentenced to a 30-year jail sentence. But unless something like that happens, I don't think he's got the really broke level happening, but he's not going to be recovering to where he was before as by far and away the richest man in the country.
The technical hearing on the matter is likely to be heard before the Western Cape High Court next month. SARS refused to comment on whether it's pursuing Wiese, saying that is confidential information. And in its response, Tullow Oil says it acquired ENSAfrica in 2004 and then in 2007 carried out a group-wide restructuring of which ENS transaction was a part. It further says it hasn't been involved with this company since 2007. Diabosito, SABC News.